With my parents out of town, I had the house to myself. I decided to indulge in a movie marathon, the kind that stretches late into the night. Around midnight, amidst the dialogue of the film, I heard it, a faint scratching sound coming from the front door. I paused the movie, straining to listen, but the noise ceased. Dismissing it as the wind, I resumed watching. Just as the movie reached its climax, the power went out, enveloping the house in darkness. I fumbled for my phone, using its flashlight to navigate. The silence was palpable, broken only by my own breathing. As I made my way to the kitchen to check the fuse box, I heard them, soft, deliberate footsteps coming from upstairs. My heart raced. I was certain I was alone, yet the unmistakable sound continued. Summoning courage, I ascended the stairs, each creak amplifying my fear. In my bedroom, I found the source. The window was wide open, curtains fluttering. I knew I had closed it earlier. As I approached to close it, a movement caught my eye, a shadow darting across the hallway. I froze, the realization sinking in that I was not alone. Panic set in. I slammed the window shut and barricaded myself in the bedroom, dialing 911 with trembling fingers. The operator assured me help was on the way, but minutes felt like hours. The police arrived, their lights casting blue and red hues through the windows. They found the front door lock tampered with and muddy footprints leading through the hallway. The intruder was gone, but evidence of their presence was undeniable. I was shaken but unharmed. The officers assured me they would patrol the area and advised me to stay with a friend for the night. The sense of violation lingered, my sanctuary forever altered. In the days that followed, we installed a security system, cameras, motion sensors, the works. But the lingering fear was harder to dispel. After a hectic semester at college, I decided to spend a week at our family's cabin in the woods, a place where I had spent countless summers surrounded by nature's tranquility. This time, I was alone, eager for some solitude and a break from the bustling city life. The first day was blissful. I spent my time reading on the porch, hiking familiar trails, and enjoying the crisp forest air. As night fell, I lit a fire in the fireplace, made myself a simple dinner, and settled into the comfort of the cabin, feeling at ease in the familiar surroundings. That night, I was awakened by a faint rustling outside. Assuming it was a deer or some small animal, I dismissed it and drifted back to sleep, comforted by the cabin's sturdy walls and the knowledge that wildlife was abundant in these woods. The next morning, I stepped outside to enjoy my coffee and was startled to find muddy footprints on the porch. They were unmistakably human and led from the edge of the forest to my front door. A chill ran down my spine as I realized someone had approached the cabin during the night. I spent the day on edge, constantly glancing toward the trees, feeling the serene forest had transformed into a menacing presence. I checked all the locks and made sure every window was securely fastened, trying to shake off the growing sense of unease. That night, sleep eluded me. Every creak of the cabin, every whisper of the wind outside set my nerves on edge. Around midnight, I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps on the porch, followed by a gentle, almost hesitant knock on the door. My heart pounded in my chest as I held my breath, hoping whoever it was would go away. Summoning all my courage, I approached the door and peered through the peephole. A man stood there, his clothes disheveled, eyes darting nervously. He didn't look like a lost hiker or camper. Something about him felt off. He knocked again, louder this time, and called out, claiming his car had broken down and he needed to use the phone. Every instinct screamed at me not to open the door. I retreated quietly, grabbed my cell phone and called the local ranger station, whispering my situation. They advised me to stay inside and assured me someone would be there shortly. Minutes later, I heard the sound of a vehicle approaching, and the man bolted into the woods. The rangers arrived and searched the area, but found no trace of the intruder. They informed me that there had been reports of a man matching his description harassing campers in the vicinity. Grateful for my safety, I decided to cut my trip short. The cabin, once a sanctuary, now felt tainted by the memory of that haunting encounter. It was a typical summer evening in a quiet neighborhood. I was 14. I had the house to myself. My parents were out to attend a gathering. I started to enjoy the moments of independence, filling the silence with my favorite book and the occasional glance at the television. As the clock neared midnight, I heard a faint noise coming from the back of the house. At first, I dismissed it as the creaks and groans typical of older homes, but the noise persisted, evolving into what sounded like deliberate footsteps. My heart rate quickened as I started to listen. Gathering my courage, I decided to investigate. I moved cautiously towards the kitchen where the sounds came from. To my shock, I found the window above the sink wide open, curtains swaying gently in the night breeze. It had always remained closed and locked, especially when no one else was home. Panic set in as I realized someone might have entered the house. I grabbed the cordless phone and retreated to the hallway, dialing my mother's number with trembling fingers. The call went straight to voicemail. I then considered calling the police, but hesitated, unsure if I was overreacting. As I was thinking about my next move, my heart started racing faster. A shadowy figure emerged at the end of the hallway, silhouetted against the faint light from the living room. The intruder stood still for a moment, as if assessing the situation, before taking a slow step forward. Adrenaline surged through my veins. My mind screamed for me to run, but my legs felt cemented to the floor. With no other option, I grabbed the baseball bat my younger brother had left near the staircase. I held it tight as the figure inched closer. I screamed and bolted up the stairs, my heart hammering against my ribs. I heard heavy footsteps pounding against the hardwood floor. I barely made it to my bedroom, slamming the door shut and locking it. For several agonizing seconds, all was silent. Then came the whispering. A low, rasping voice murmured something from the other side of the door. I pressed my hands over my ears, trying to not hear. My entire body was trembling. I forced myself to think. I couldn't stay trapped. I crept to the window, carefully lifting the pane open. The roof ledge was only a few feet away. If I could reach it, I might be able to climb down. With a deep breath, I swung one leg over the windowsill and pulled myself out. I dropped down into the bushes below. My breath caught as I glanced up. My bedroom window was now wide open. The intruder stood there, peering out, searching. For a moment our eyes met. Then, as if realizing I had escaped, the figure turned and disappeared into the house. I sprinted barefoot down the street, pounding on a neighbor's door. I explained everything to the neighbor, and the neighbor called the police. The police arrived within minutes, sweeping the house, but the intruder was gone. No signs of breaking into the house, no fingerprints, no explanation. Yet the open window and overturned furniture stood as proof that I hadn't imagined it. The police never found the intruder. There were no break-ins reported nearby. My parents reinforced the locks, but the uneasy feeling never left. Someone had been inside my home watching, waiting.